BlizzCon.
Well, let's go ahead and start the road today, actually. Let's go ahead and focus on Method and Granite Gaming. We checked in with them to see if they were ready for this weekend's matchup, and they have this to say.
We faced Method first in the playoffs, and I think we have a pretty good chance. I mean, we had a decent showing against Leftovers, I would say, even though I need to pay Mopsio the pizza and cook it for him. But Method was always declining, and it didn't seem that they recovered. So as we will put in more effort this week than the previous ones, I think we can beat them, and like we will go even further. We'll try to make the loser bracket run of Wrestling Clash. We will try to relive the stream.
Lately we have been not doing that well with Method, but even though we lost versus Granit Gaming in second phase, I still think that we should be a big favor here and we should take the win. And I really expect, I would be really disappointed if we lose.
As mentioned, Method has had an alarmingly poor Phase 2 Part 2 here for the HGC, but the good news is none of that matters right now. That's the past. You're the number 5 seed. You need to be able to keep moving forward. It is time to focus on the future and focus on the now. And speaking to ADRD the other day, they mentioned they've been feeling a little bit more confident. Meta's starting to feel a bit better for them. They're starting to understand what's going on. So as long as they focus on today's matchups and this weekend, they can pull it out.
It's tough with Method because you're absolutely right. We know that they are great players.
Yeah.
We know that they worked as a unit really successfully in the past. That's not only about BlizzCon 2017 where they attended and had a great run, but also when we're looking at after Mid-Season Brawl this year when they reformed. The first part of Phase 2 was fantastic for them. But then you look at the results of Part 2 and it is abysmal. Them being one of the worst, if not even the worst team that we have in the standings is crazy. It's actually insane. So they need to just, like, we know they can do it. It's just, do they find that team environment and the drive again that they have lost a bit to show that level of play that is needed here to not only take down Granite Gaming, but then also advance over Leftovers to make it into the final match against Fnatic.
Especially when Phase 1 ended, or Phase 2 Part 1 ended, they were up there above those other teams, which is so crazy to us. Let's go ahead and focus on this match, though. It's time for Battleground at number 1 in this series, in this best of 5. Remember, the first 3 wins will be moving forward to Saturday, and whoever loses, their season will be done until next year. Method, picking Tomb of the Spider Queen, Cursed Hollow will be banned out, as well as Brax's Holdout.
I'm hyped. Tomb is going to be the first map, and this is a map where, I mean, it's actually a little bit tricky. Granite Gaming feels pretty good too. I mean, we just heard from Method that they are feeling, okay, we should win the series.
Yeah.
But then I talked to Granite quite a bit and to some of their players. They feel confident. They're in a spot where they said, yeah, we focused a lot on this. We had some struggles in other matches that we played this season where we feel now we have a bit of a better drive here and we want to accomplish this now. But they actually believe that against Method, they have a really good shot of taking them down again. And I would say that Granite, like Tomb is also a map where they normally feel comfortable on.
Yeah.
They had troubles against Roll20 on the map, and they said, okay, that was on us. We didn't really play well. We should have won that. It was a bit of a weird game anyways. But in general, we feel fairly good on Tomb, and I don't think that's going to be... I don't think they have a problem playing this first map. I think they're pretty happy with the pick that Method just threw at them.
They should be fine here. They bring a certain flair to this Battleground, and if they can find picks, it's typically where they can pull themselves back in. But looking over to Method when it comes to this Battleground, I enjoy their macro aspect much more than Granite's. I feel like they do a better job of the early stages getting turn-ins and trying to force the issue. It's just a matter of whether or not Method can make sure that Granite Gaming doesn't find that moment, find that flair that they typically pull off on this Battleground to make the comebacks that we saw actually in the last series they faced off against.
For me, it's a big question mark with Method. I am not even comfortable, like even when I see a draft right now, and I would normally give a draft win to a team, even then I wouldn't be comfortable saying Method takes this. Just simply because the past few weeks have been so bad from their point of view that I need to see it in the game how they behave as a unit. If they can pull it off, then I would definitely trust in their skills to even make it to BlizzCon if they can play on the best level that team has to offer. But they were so far away from being anywhere near that in the past 1.5 months. So I'm interested. I really want to know, did they turn it around? Did they use the time that they had now to fix their issues, whatever they are, get the communication going? And we're going to find out in Game 1, I would assume.
If there's ever a time to restore that faith, it is now. Granite Gaming opens up with a Maiev ban. Method ends back with a Genji being taken away in this series between both of them.
So my F banned out over Abathar. I would still expect Medivh to be banned. Yep, that's what we're having right here. Abathar is a hero that is traditionally banned against AD/RD, but on Tomb of the Spider Queen you can make the argument that you don't need to ban him out here, that the Slugger is not really going to be that much of a threat. But let's see, Method played a solo support Abathar once in the past. It was at the Western Clash, the first one this year. Sorry, that was with Zealots actually, when AD/RD was still on Zealots, which is now a Roll20. So yeah, back then they tried that. I doubt that we're going to see something like this here. It's not quite out of the question. But there was super early Junkrat here, even as a priority for Granit Gaming.
I'm interested in the URL ban here for Method. I feel like there's any team in the HGC that you can maybe gamble the idea of not banning out a URL against. It would be Granit Gaming. And Method, they could really pay off to be able to grab that URL. She's so pivotal for a throw on that side lane.
We have seen a lot more URL play from Darkmog on Granit Gaming's side, but you are correct. He is not someone who says like, okay, this is my go-to hero, I need to have that hero here. Oftentimes we actually see them with Leoric on Tomb of the Spider Queen. That has been a bit of a go-to pick for them.
Diablo and Tirana coming out though, the 1-2 combo of going into a flip and trying to land that Luna Flare helps out for trying to blow up a target, but healing is also great for Tirana as well. And just for a quick note for you guys at home, Kerrigan and Brightwing reworks will not be played this weekend or the Crucible next week either, so you will not be seeing those new additions. We should see them at BlizzCon, but just a note for those wondering why we don't see the Kerrigan. So Johanna and Malfurion coming out, Leoric banned away, Method, knowing Granit Gaming, as you just mentioned, loves to go to Leo.
I just talked about it. So Leo is being banned out here. They also say we've picked up on that pattern. You play that a lot, especially Darkmog. Blaze as a ban? Okay, didn't really quite see that coming. I mean, it makes sense, but at the same time, I was expecting them to leave the side lane open a bit.
This is a Dehaka, right?
I mean,
Dehaka or Thrall.
Dehaka is open, Thrall is still open. I wonder how crazy Granit Gaming could go with a few of those picks for that solo lane. But yeah, Dehaka and Thor were probably the two that we would look towards the most. Keep in mind, Malthael is also still there.
True.
That has been played in the past a few times. It's a Thrall variation of a method, which leaves Dehaka open. Malthael is still another pick. Not really the most popular in Euro, but we have seen that played from Granit Gaming as well.
And at least usable here too, especially against that Diablo being on the front line. You have a Thrall towing in, so you're going to have a couple of melees at least floating around, so that should be a fine pickup there for Granit Gaming. Going to need a little bit more damage as well. It's going to be a Phoenix coming out to be the damage dealer, as long as we might get the Hanzo instead, and there's that Malthael.
Yeah, Malthael taken, so that's yeah, that's a little bit more down Darkmog's alley, I'd say. Like, he really likes to play that hero.
He wants to do damage as a side laner. He wants to. That's who he is. It's his MO.
He also wants to have someone who is like a bit more mobile, and Dehaka doesn't quite fit that bill outside of the global that he can use. So with a hero like Malthael, I mean, if it was up to him, we might see that Illidan again, or see like a Kerrigan or something. Stuff that, you know, can jump around, is aggressive, is agile. But Malthael is a little bit down that path at least.
And a solid follow-up here for Gul'dan. Gonna bring in that wave clear and help out on the front line too. This makes it a little bit harder for Malthael to be able to get those exchanges that he wants. If he charges too far into Diablo, he can be horrified straight into the middle of a fight and maybe take it on the force. So in terms of actual draft, if you take away the names here, who do you like for drafted more?
Like, again, I can't ignore the names.
You have to ignore them. That's the caveat.
I mean, I like what Method has. There's a lot of stuff that I really enjoy in that draft. I personally would probably prefer that a little bit more. Not that Granit Gaming doesn't have good arguments. They have very nice interrupt potential against turn-ins. That's great for controlling the objective. They have good wave clear. But if I look at kill potential, then I would prefer Method. You have a Diablo and Tirana comp that if you execute it well, Gul'dan and Hanzo can both follow up on, even Thrall with an additional stun. There's good interrupt potential from them too, through Hanzo, through Tirana. The draft, I would give it to Method. I like that style more. I'm not saying that it necessarily is a stronger one, but I personally prefer that style, and it allows you to be more aggressive on the map itself. But then again, Method has been so horrible the last few weeks that I will, like, I really want to see, do they have that synergy finally? Because draft or no draft, they need to perform with the heroes they have. You can definitely make that work here. I just want to see, have they finally moved through that slump and now seeing the light at the end of the tunnel again.
I think I agree with you. I like the draft here too, especially with it taking a couple of elements away from Granit Gaming. The Hanzo coming over to Method, Leo being banned out as well. Good preparation here for Method, just a matter of if they can deliver. Let's go straight into it. It's going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen. On the left side, Caldora, the honors are yours to introduce Method.
Bad Benny for Method on Diablo here today. We're seeing Nick, of course, on the damage. This time it's Gul'dan for him, playing the mage, Ethereal Angel on Thrall. with Curson on Tyrande, and as we saw earlier, 80 Artie on Hanzo.
On the right, Granite Gaming, our number 6 seed. Memecraft playing Phoenix, Dark Mach on Malthael, Nande on Johanna, Raid Boss on Junkrat, Wolf Joe on Malfurion. And this weekend is for all the marbles, as everyone is fighting for that one slot to BlizzCon.
It's actually even a bit surprising to me that Granite Gaming allowed Hanzo to be taken that late on Method's side, because normally when you see Memecraft, they're really trying to get Hanzo for him. He's very impactful on that hero, and that's something that they didn't really focus on this time all that much. So Method was able to sneak Hanzo in. It caters back to what you've been talking about earlier, that Method definitely took a few things away from Granite Gaming too, but it's definitely interesting to see. So we're going to find out if that's going to work out here. Also, some slight adjustments on the level 1 talent. We talked a lot about Tyrande and her Celestial Attunement, which we see most of the time. But in this setup, it's the resistance. You're trying to go for the spell armor that she provides, despite the root and the blessed shield that we can expect on the side of Johanna.
That's just needed against Junkrat's Riptide in itself to solo as well. 2 major heroics for Granite Gaming that can clean up a team fight, and now Tyrande has a way to mitigate that, so Method can decide if they want to continue throughout the fight once those do get burned out. So decent pickup there, but it is definitely a trade-off to what you normally see from the Tyrande. Looking over to the regular talents, everything looks pretty similar for our teams. As Ethereal right now is working on the echo of the elements that you have in the bottom lane, which actually means that Granite Gaming is looking to get an aggressive play on Curson. Coming in here on the left side, Curson getting low, but the heals are keeping him alive. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, and Junkrat gets picked up by Bad Benny. He's going to be next.
Yeah, Bad Benny down, and that's a 2-for-1 trade in Granite Gaming's favor. Method getting caught here. Curson a bit too far out, and that an engage happens. Doesn't retreat in time and is immediately caught. Was a good counter kill that we saw from Method, but then that counter kill ended up with Bad Benny on Diablo being out of position as well. And so 2-for-1. Definitely not the start into this that Method was envisioning.
The best play this here for Granite Gaming here is it goes straight in for the Bruiser Camp, and they immediately do that. They go straight to the Bruiser Camp, get that pushing in the middle lane. They can move towards the Giants they would like, or even drop off a few of their gems. A total of 28 have been collected. And the best part, too, is they get to force slightly quicker than Method.
Also, I mean, they could have even tried to go for the Siege Knight after that kill, to be honest. It was a little bit of a time frame for them. Normally, when you go for your Night Camp, you can get that quite safely. It's a Siege Giant camp that is oftentimes contested more heavily. But as you said, they get at least pressure through the mid lane, and they can maybe already take away some of those structures to prepare for the first turn. That would really help them here. And that spell aura in particular is definitely going to be helpful against what we're seeing from Method.
And you can see what they're going to do now. They can come over and drop off some gems. Nande on that front line with Johanna would love to drop off a few of those gems. Not have to worry about being on the front line so much. Can look to control Diablo a bit more. Speaking of Diablo, he actually interrupts Nande. And ADRD will do the same with the Sonic Arrow. So Method prevents any turn-ins from happening and also clear up the camp that was pushing in the middle.
Yeah, I think Granit could have been a bit more aggressive here and at least take down the gate and open access to the fountain maybe a bit more. With Junkrat, you have that poke potential, so they didn't get the turn-in. Method was still able to control that spot quite nicely. So the deaths weren't really of any big consequences for Method just yet. But it already makes me worried, right? Like it's not really a thing that's going to decide the game here, but it always worries me a bit how easily Curson got caught here by Granit.
Toronto, one of those heroes you've got to be really careful with. You don't have a Decker King where you can slam out those potions, get the cooldown reduction, even drop down a little bit of healing for yourself. Just got to make sure that you are in the right spot at all times. But so far, Curson's been playing safer since then. Granite Gaming going for the giant play that you were asking about earlier, even setting up a mine just to make sure if Method does come in and invade, they can walk away with it. Again, just keeping up with the map pressure as they build up more gems. 22 to 21, sorry, 37 to 21, as Method takes the time to drop off a few of theirs.
Yeah, both of them have now the opportunity to turn in and complete the first objective. And the wave clear that we see through Nanda on Johanna is definitely fantastic, and they are actually doing a great job zoning out the bot lane a bit and putting the pressure on. That forces 2 heroes to react to it, and now we're seeing again turn-in attempts. Nice route also against Bad Benny, trying to move in against him. Curson again a little... the positioning for Curson is always a bit weird. He's trying to come in from the side, but that also opens him up to be isolated from the rest of the team. So he needs to really be careful with this and try and move behind Diablo in those cases.
At the same time, he's trying to be there for Diablo to actually land that Looter Flare, so it really comes down to Nick suddenly have to protect him. It is a bit scary, but I can see why he's there too. Because you want to be there for that Lunar Flare, right? You want to be there for that combo. But you have to always be aware of where Johanna is. And speaking of a possible kill, a Thero in the bottom gets picked off by Granit Gaming. He has 20 gems, drop Cursing, get it. He steps up, he tries to, the mine knocks him back. Will he be falling here? No, the Lunar Flare will get him out, and he's able to recover the gems lost.
With 4 heroes at the bot lane, I really feel that Granit Gaming could have done a much better job making sure that those gems on net get secured. So Tyrande able to move up in that 2 versus 4 setup that we had there. But still, the kill, of course, is there. It opens up a window for Granit Gaming. They use it to turn in. And now we have Web Weavers coming down. They already are looking at a half-level lead. And now through the Web Weavers, if they can take these structures down with all the poke that they have through Phoenix, through Junkrat, they should be able to take a solid experience advantage.
It's kind of funny how you come back to this and you think about the options that we saw earlier with the Night Camp. Had this ball been opened up earlier, Granit Gaming could be going straight for a fort instead, trying to get an experience jump. Not getting the turn in earlier too just shows how strong of a defense Method had. With the wall being here, Method will split up as much as they can to make sure that they are not going to lose too much on their walls. They already have Goldan in the top lane who will solo clear that up. The middle lane being cleared up by ADRD with those explosive arrows.
Well, of course, you're looking for the double turn in here, and the timing is really good for the first objective to try and make that happen. Granit Gaming is level 9.5. If they get a bit more structures, maybe even the 4 tier, that would secure heroic abilities for them, and then they could look at that second turn and quite easily. Would have to secure a few more gems, but they are close, though.
Nick finally here is going to help clear this Web Weaver out. Gosh, that fort took way more damage than Method would have liked. Granit Gaming now setting up to back up. They have a total of 44 gems of the 55 they need for the second turn in. So all they want to do here is try to get towards 10 and prevent Method from dropping off anything. And they should be able to do that quite nicely.
The timing is great for them. It's really great. They have nearly the gem count they need. 10 is just now about to drop into their hands. And now with heroic abilities, that should be something where they can either force a fight or get another turn in. They are 5 short, so that's an easy turn in for now. You get the other 5 through Junkrat, for example, through anyone else once the wave comes in. Even if you don't get the objective now, you secure most of your gems and are very, very safe towards the mid game.
Yep. Ray Boss working on the other 15 here. Gems get in the middle, Mouthy working on the gems in the bottom. This should be able to be enough for the Method finally working towards that 10 though. And they need to make a decision here. Do they want to force a fight soon? They grab the Spell Aura Camp to push in the middle lane, and they also have enough gems for a turn in. So they step up and attempt to find their first turn in of the game.
Lightning Breath, Sundering, and the Arrow. Good combo potential here, especially also with the Horrify adding just on top of that. Here comes the aggression, and the kill against Malthael. Down he goes. Even with a Nature's Cure, no chance of keeping him alive. Wolfjo was trying, even dropping the Tranquility here, but that was a nice trap that we saw from Method, and very well executed.
One of the trade-offs of one of the side laners being a squishy here. You get those Malthael, you get those Illidan's coming in there, suddenly you don't have the sustainability that you have on a Urel or a Dahaka perhaps. Diablo finding that target, instantly going for the combo, and stopping him in his tracks.
Bot lane pressure now even emphasized more through those Siege Giants that were just now taken, so this is going to be a heavy push. You already have Web Weavers coming down. There's more than a minion wave even stacked up thanks to that camp, and that is going to make it very difficult for Granit Gaming to hold on to their structures in this.
Giant Seed cleaned up, Wave Weaver 2. Nande coming in here to try and push back Thrall. Not going to try and force the fight at all, especially with Diablo sharking around, but this does buy space for Granit Gaming to defend this. And boy, they are clearing this up quicker than I anticipated.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit disappointing how passive Method plays around this, because there's another camp in mid lane that Granit Gaming took with the Knights. That is actually insane. They were basically even experience before that happened. They more or less got nothing really out of this. It's not quite over yet, so they should still establish a little bit of a lead. But I expected them to be more aggressive around cooldowns that they still had available to themselves to try and drop something here. So I feel Method, first of all, Granit Gaming with a great defense, but I think Method could have gotten a lot more here than they did and could have been more aggressive.
Part of that was really Johanna showing herself and threatening the idea of forcing a fight with not everyone being on the map except for Junkrat. Method just played it completely safe. But it did pay off for Granit Gaming. Solid defense for them. Clear up top, to clear up the middle. Bad Benny finds another combo. Ooh, a little bit of a disruption there between the two.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Getting the stun into the wall and then the follow-up, not quite. Okay, we was turned in by Granit Gaming. Like again, Method is still holding on to this. Granit Gaming has a tiny lead and has now the opportunity to gain more through the second objective that they themselves secured. But it is still a game where you would say I just don't like how passive Method is in a lot of these cases, especially with the setup that they're running.
Especially with Diablo being finished up on the souls, right? I understand it in the early game, but trying to find those moments is what you do with Diablo.
Oh, Benny at the top, trying to go for Junkrat here.
Okay, showing a little bit of teeth here.
Yeah, it was a bit of a flank. Didn't quite work out for them, but I like the idea and I like the setup. I like that they are trying to look for these opportunities now. Now, of course, things are going to become a lot harder now for Diablo to set any kind of stun CC up, because we're currently seeing inevitable end for Malthael, and that's a huge game changer, at least for him, and he was the earlier victim.
Especially against Toronto, trying to follow it up with that Lunar Flare.
Yeah.
Completely correct there. Malthael should be able to hold that front line a little bit better. Something now your target's a Junkrat and maybe Phoenix, but those are going to be playing pretty safe. Memecraft, speaking about that, steps up to put some damage on Bad Benny. The 4 in the top gets defended by Method. So a total of 2 turns going for Granit Gaming, and so far the result has only been 1 fort.
Also, it's only a fountain at the top lane that Method has, so their retreat options are really, really slim compared to what Granit Gaming still has. They have a fountain on every single lane, which makes it much easier for them to just retreat and reset fights. It's more difficult for Method to make that, so that can definitely be an advantageous situation. Already Dartmock poking around here a bit. And it's all about turn-ins again, and the gem advantage is definitely in the hands of Method. They hold 83, but that also means that if they lose a hero, they're going to lose out on a lot of potential to come back into this.
Turn-ins are important, but also looking at stacks here. Corruption Quest for Gul'dan's currently at 34. Need about 6 more before he finishes that off. He's going to try and get that done before 16. Looking over to Junkrat, total of 37 stacks on his level 4, and the Treant currently has 1 stack for Malfurion.
Yeah, with the Echoed Corruption, 34 stacks for Gul'dan, it should be completed soon, and that's definitely going to hit before level 16. So Nick is doing a pretty decent job on getting those. But yeah, both teams are still dancing around each other, but we see very few heavy commitments into big 5 versus 5 fights so far.
Method trying to force the issue here in the top. Dropping off some gems, helping out with the camp will allow for that to push in, and Granit Gaming has to clear that up, and they finally do. So Method will find the second turn of the game for them, and this is where they can open up the forts that have already taken a little bit of damage here when it comes to turrets and the gates, and look for that 16 that Gul'dan in particular and Thrall really want.
Yeah, none of the teams have really flipped the switch just yet and go for a full engage here. We've seen isolated kills, one against Malthael, others earlier, the double kill against Tyrande and Diablo. But right now they are 5-manning quite a bit, and Benny is already waiting in the shadows here, trying to see if he can get that stun through. But of course, we're having the vision of Junkrat up to the top lane, so Method trying to play around that.
So Malthael will hold his own in the bottom lane. Knows where I'm a little bit worried for them. Fort may fall down, but Junkrat doing his best to clear that up. He actually jumps away seeing Diablo here, even with 3 showing in the middle and Thrall not on the map. Junkrat is still playing as careful as he can. Horrify hits, it connects with Memecraft. Is it going to fall? He gets out with the warp arrow a bit too late, but Ethereal from the side comes over, gets the lightning, gets the wolf, finds 2, no, 3 in total as Method takes Granit Gaming and deletes a majority of their members.
Great fight here, but that did not start off well. The entire setup to take down Phoenix, failing because of the late arrow, but then salvaging the fight and getting a triple kill out of it. So Method walking away with a very massive victory here, and they immediately capitalize on the situation by moving up to the top, saying, okay, we have 16, we have a 5 versus 2 on the map, let's go for the boss and make sure that we're carrying that momentum now to take game 1.
Granit Gaming takes what they can as they look to grab the Night Camp in the middle. They'll have that pushing, or at least counter-pushing against Method, as Method will have that boss pushing to the top, which should be able to take that fort. But now Method takes a lead in experience, 16.5, looking to get towards that level 17, and setting up for another turn in the third of the game for them.
2 more. Kirsten's already working on that. Boss is taken. They're timing it. They're trying to time it here. And that would be a great push. You get the boss pushing through and you have Web Weavers. You can start to threaten the top keep very easily, or decide to just take the structures somewhere else on the map. But a rotation top side would be great for them. Opening up the top lane, taking the keep down and using catapults there would be fantastic. And I think this is going to be very difficult for Granit Gaming to stop.
Especially with them clearing up the camp that Granit Gaming grabbed in the middle, they have all of the pressure on the map. As Method takes open this front wall, Nande taking a bit of beating, going down about half health. They'll be able to heal up while Malthael works in the middle lane. But Granit Gaming seems to be in a spot where they may have to forfeit this keep if Malthael doesn't rotate soon.
That keep is a goner, 100%. The question is, can you even get more out of this? Because this is going to be tough. Again, Web Weavers are there. Good poke for Granit, no question about it. Through Junkrat, through Phoenix. And Method walks away for now. They have a solid leading experience. They're looking strong with this. They can rotate down to the bot lane, maybe drop an additional fort. We have the Ruinous Affliction. Nick, of course, done with the Echo Corruption on level 1. So Method definitely started to turn up the heat a bit in this game.
Ethereal, we're looking for Darkmok, but Darkmok spots him out in the bottom lane, but that gives the window of Method going to the bottom lane and taking down the fort, and they are looking for some more. Gosh, with this last play, they have taken out a fort, 2 forts, a keep, and are looking for a keep wall as they move towards 19. They've got a level and a half on their opponent. Method in cruise control right now.
Yeah, Granit Gaming is in a spot where they are by no means out of the game, but they are now in a situation. Hey, boss, okay.
Yeah, he didn't mean to go that far in.
Yeah, not quite where I wanted to land, but yeah, I'll take it for now. Malthael is also taking it, and that's meaning the damage, like, he goes down.
Welcome to Ruinous Affliction.
Yep.
If you get hit by a couple of those shots, you get popped. And Malthael, eating the damage, eats a death.
I mean, Darkmok struggled a bit in the recent past, and that you can just see again. So he goes down, and that all of a sudden opens up a really nice opportunity for Method to maybe get a second keep. Because so far, Granit Gaming's job was to just weather the storm and see what they can get. But at this point, they want more. And here comes the Horrify. They're going immediately for Johanna, and that is Nick with the damage, taking them down. Johanna with a final hit. 2 down, and that should be another keep eliminated. Method can poke against it. Nick should have another shot in just a few seconds, and that would open up the door to a first victory in this best of 5 for Method.
Method taking a few minutes to figure out their synergy, but they have finally revved up and are finally starting to hit those marks. Beautiful follow-up there from Kirsten to make sure to hit that Lunar Flare into the Hunter mark, and then Hanzo delivering the damage as well. Method getting a couple of picks and a double keep play here as Catapult will be pushing the top lane and the bottom. And here's the worst part. 20 is about to hit for Method. Granit Gaming definitely hurting right now.
Yeah, and also we're already seeing Nick here with the big boy pants here today, definitely making a lot of carry moves. Not only the Echo Corruptions, but the Ruinous Affliction that he drops, and that damage that bursts anyone down. But the Horrifies that we've seen in this game thus far were very solid and created a lot of kills.
Nick always being a staple for Method throughout all of Phase 2 Part 2. Every time you look at him, he's still stable, always delivering when it comes to the damage, and that's the same story here for Gul'dan.
Yeah, it's the silent ones that you have to be careful about.
You do. The silent killers, man. And Nick is definitely one of those. As we have Method setting up for a pretty large play of pushing here. They have a camp in the middle, catapults on the top, giants grab, and they have 3 layers of offense happening here as they are working on collecting gems. Whereas Granit Gaming, they are just praying for dear life to stay in this game and find a way to get a turn in.
Nick is so quiet, his teammates still don't know what a voice sounds like.
They've been playing for 2 years, and they haven't heard him say anything. Happy birthday, Nick! He just nods at you.
Everything was satisfactory so far.
Method having a solid push in the middle. Should be able to get cleared to here by Granit Gaming, but he should take an ounce of damage. Ooh, not even a little bit here as Granit Gaming, there we go. Finally, a lightning connects with it, so we get a smidgen hit.
Yeah.
Malthael thinking about coming in from behind. Is Granit Gaming actually thinking about taking this fight?
I mean, Method is in a position where they want to force them into it, no doubt about that. They're waiting for the minion waves to push into the keep, but they want to take that structure down. Granit Gaming is already with the back to the wall completely here, and the continuous poke that we're seeing is definitely helping. They're moving back for now, but you have to ask yourself, okay, what kind of game do you play? What do you get to the 20? Are you working towards a second turn-in? How many camps are on the map that you can claim? What is the timer on boss, for example? Is that something that you can consider to play for again, where you can force a fight? And at this point, the boss timer is actually at 8 seconds, so you can definitely make that rotation eventually if you want.
Granit Gaming also thinking about their own level 20s and the strength that they bring in the field. Even Riptire being used here, which is actually pretty big for that boss. You can usually use that to displace people or at least put out a chunk of damage so you can decide if you want to invade there. Method Gaming, the moment they see that Riptire, they immediately head over and start the said boss play. But Granit Gaming, if they can get to 20 here, you can't forget, no one can stop death from Malthael. Last person play a little bit more aggressive. Johanna at the same time becoming indestructible. All great moments for Granit Gaming. They actually haven't spotted that full boss yet as Method hid themselves. So Granit Gaming oversteps and a Horrify connects and Phoenix will fall.
Great combo here, getting the Sundering in and the Horrify comes through right after. Down goes Malthael, bot lane already pushing through, 2 down there, going for the 3rd and the 4th, down they go. Malthael and Johanna, they all die like flies, only Raid Boss still surviving on the rat here as Method is looking to end game number 1. There's the Wolf Connect and immediately a follow-up from Kirsten who drops that easy Lunar Flare. Another kill secured, and with 5 man down, and Method walking towards the core to finish game 1.
Angry Ethereal coming out there, bolting over the wall, waiting for the prime opportunity, hitting the Wolf and getting the kill. Method comes out. during the playoffs in game number 1. A couple seconds of rev-up time, and they finally deliver a solid blow as they go up 1-0 over Granit Gaming.
All right.
All right.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Looking a little bit stronger here. First few minutes, maybe, really, let's not call it shaky, but a couple of moments where it was like, I'm not quite sure what you guys were trying to do here. But then ramping it up through the mid-game, once the rogue abilities are in, the synergy starts to come out. Nick with great Horrifies, great Sundering engagement there towards the end. A couple of great moments for Method.
Yeah.
And finally, it sounds like a ridiculous thing to even state, but finally able to run with an advantage.
Yeah.
They had games on Volskaya, for example, where they held every single advantage in the late game fight, and they just throw them away without ever committing to anything. Here, very different story, a more decisive in the way they rotated. Even before the Riptire came out, they already split 2 heroes to rotate to the boss. Then they decide, okay, they're coming. Diablo spots it out, and they're just saying, like, set up a trap, try and flank in, get that Sundering through, and then re-follow it up with a good Horrify. The combo works out perfectly. They get a quick kill against Phoenix, follow it up with 3 more. Well played.